Hey, what's up everyone? I had to share this because the store was out of regular Sara Lee bread. Or at least they didn't carry it. I don't know which. And I looked and I saw, well, they have the Sara Lee 35 calorie per slice bread or whatever, and they have this. And I seen Sara Lee on this, and I'm thinking, but that's Colonial. Colonial has nothing to do with Sara Lee. But apparently now, I don't know if they just bought some kind of a fake bread. By the way, the bread was awful. The bread was tough. It was like, it wasn't good bread like Sara Lee always is. And I'm thinking, this doesn't look like Sara Lee. This is Colonial. They have nothing to do with each other. When did Colonial and Sara Lee merge? The hometown taste since 1928. And by the way, it was not hometown taste. It tasted very old. But it was Sara Lee King Thin Sandwich White Bread? Colonial. It's good bread. And then it says Sara Lee King Thin Sandwich White Bread. Those two names don't belong together. And I looked on a website and it was those two names, Colonial and Sara Lee. They don't belong together. So that's something very strange for me. Let's do a quick search, and I'll show you. This is also what I was talking about, the double 45-calorie bread. But look at this. There is no such thing as Colonial Sara Lee bread. There's the Colonial right there. There's what Sara Lee used to look like before they changed their look. It changed it to a white container, and Sara Lee bread is not as good as it used to be. It doesn't taste the same anymore. But I'm not just talking about what I have now. We got this, see, there is no Sara Lee Colonial. There's Colonial and there's Sara Lee, but there is no Colonial Sara Lee. Which either leads me to believe it's some sort of black marketed thing, or it's just not. There is no such thing as Sara Lee Colonial. Have I stumbled onto something? Has something weird, strange happened? See, that's Sara Lee, the old Sara Lee. There is no Sara Lee Colonial. No such thing. And there are hundreds of millions of results, and there are no Sara Lee Colonials. Two different breads. Completely. And I know that. I know that. Oh boy, I don't know. It's just crazy. You can see on here an Oklahoma Historical Society website that states Colonial Bakery began in 1928. This individual opened up the Colonial Bakery in Oklahoma City, and that over time they grew their company, and someone else joined them, several other individuals, and then the Oklahoma City plant operated under the Campbell Taggart National umbrella, and then independently owned bakeries produced brand names such as Rainbow, Colonial, Wholesome, and Betsy Ross. By 1929, the company oversaw 19 of these bakeries. Then in 1935 and 41, they expanded their operations. On September 9th, 1949, Carl Skogsberg, he died of age 55. And the guy, Carl Skogsberg, was the original guy that came up with Colonial bread, the original person. And then in 1958, they got a new president, and they said its bread recipe and its same name to Rainbow Company. By this time, the employment had increased to 150, and the plant was owned. They operated 50 trucks. They owned 50 different vehicles. In the mid-1970s, Campbell Taggart introduced a line of products. Then they changed their franchise in 1996, released it as an independent, policy-traded Earth Grains Company. They changed it to Earth Grains Company in 2001. Well, then Sara Lee bought Earth Grains. So, I mean, in 1996, look at this. In 1996, they changed their brand to Earth Grains. Well, then Earth Grains was bought by Sara Lee in 2001. Since when? I don't ever remember the company Colonial, which owned Earth Grains. I don't even remember that company. but being bought in 2001 by Sara Lee. But they said they bought them, creating the nation's second largest fresh bread company. Sara Lee then created the second fresh bread company in 2001. The Oklahoma City plant prospered through the 20th century, surviving unionization strikes, competition with Continental Bakery and other Wonder Bread products during the Great Depression and a changing market. In 2004, the bakery was still in operation in North Broadway in Oklahoma City. The article was by Larry Odell. Now, please tell me where in existence Sara Lee and Colonial Bread have anything to do with each other. I see that Colonial owned a company called Earth Grains, and Earth Grains was bought out in 2001 by, they operated in 1996. Sorry, I'm getting these lots of leg cramps, muscle spasms all over, and I've taken potassium. I've done all that. I've taken potassium and potassium, magnesium, all the stuff that's supposed to help all that out. But I went into my body was going to a bad muscle spasms earlier, and I fell, and then I just went into a spasm and couldn't get up at the moment. I don't want to talk about that, but please tell me when this happened. 2001, Sara Lee, I get that. They bought Earth Grains and from 1996, and then 2001 they bought them, and they came up with Sara Lee. But of all of the hundreds of millions of search results on Google Images and Google searches, period, there are no results for this bread that I've got from the store a few days ago. Colonial Sara Lee King Thin Sandwich White Bread. And by the way, this bread was not any good. It was awful. It just tasted old, and it was tough. There's good bread and there's bad bread, and this was not good bread. But we're using it, but we're just, making do with it. But it wasn't the greatest bread. We always got Sara Lee. Sara Lee recently changed their looks, and it said same great taste. It said new look, same great taste. When a company says that, they've usually gone crappy with their change. But this shocked me, and it was confusing when I seen it. I was like, what the heck? Colonial, it's good bread. The hometown taste since 1928. Sara Lee. Colonial Sara Lee. I said, when we looked at that, I said, there is no such thing as Colonial Sara Lee. So unless they got some kind of black marketed fake type of off-brand company bread pretending to be Colonial and Sara Lee, it's made to look like Colonial, but it's got the Sara Lee logo in the middle. And I went to the grocery store because there was none of the bread that we liked. There was no Sara Lee bread, and this was the only Colonial, and there was no Sara Lee. So, I don't know. Give your thoughts on this. This is a definite change for me. Something that is not supposed to exist. So, I bought a bread that should not exist. That's what I'll title the video. Peace and much love. My links are below if you'd like to help support. Also, my email for this channel, and feel free to subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. I love your comments, and I love you all. Thanks for helping my video go so far regarding the Dairy Queen video I did, where the Pepsi changed to Coke, and yeah, they suddenly never had it. And Dr. Pepper, someone stated, yes, that is true. They are a Pepsi. People do not carry Pepsi and Coke products together. Well, Dr. Pepper is a Pepsi product. How come they carry Coke? How come they carry it? That's a good question. But yeah, that did happen. It shifted and it changed. Now they only carry Pepsi. I mean Coke, not Pepsi. I even took pictures. So anyway, thank you for helping that video go so far. It's gotten 1,700 views, going on 2,000. That's all I know in just a few days. And so many likes, over 50 likes now, I think. So anyway, peace, much love. Let me know if you've ever heard of this. So, I bought a bread that shouldn't exist. Peace, much love, bye.